Revenge, a popular theme in storytelling. Someone has suffered, and he or she will let the perpetrators pay for the injustice they caused. A power fantasy which will satisfy the viewer, turning the victim into a hero. But some stories dare to go deeper than the power fantasy and ask questions. What will revenge make out of the former victim? Will it cause more destruction and suffering? Will it bring any good? Will it be worth it? A director which I really appreciate, Kim Ji-woon, tackled the topic of revenge in several of his movies. Naturally, as he is a Korean filmmaker, and let's be real, Koreans love to take revenge. While often tragic, there are also many approaches which are more fun. I Saw the Devil does not belong into this category though. Many will probably consider it disturbing. Peaceful music plays. It's night on a lonely country road. A young woman sits in her car and calls her boyfriend. She has a breakdown with her car and waits for the mechanic to arrive, when a man appears out of the dark and offers help. She politely rejects the offer and ends the call with her boyfriend, who is a Secret Service agent. It will be the last time they speak to each other. As the woman looks for the man outside, he suddenly appears next to the car and breaks the window with a hammer. He then gets into the car and beats the woman unconscious. The man is Kyung-chul, a disturbed man, a maniac who kills, tortures and assaults his female victims, and the woman is his latest victim. The boyfriend So-hyun vows to revenge his girlfriend and starts to search for the killer. Through his connections, he finds possible suspects, and soon Kyung-chul. While the deranged serial killer is bringing another victim to a greenhouse, he suddenly hears something. He is not alone. A brutal but short fight ensues between the two, and So-hyun soon overwhelms the killer. But just when he is about to deliver the final blow, he stops. Instead, he puts a GPS device into Kyung-chul's mouth and breaks his wrist. Hours later, the serial killer wakes up, this time actually alone, but also with an envelope full of money. And this is the point when the movie really starts. Kim Ji-woon is a celebrated Korean action director, with some movies which I would call modern classics or at least crowd-pleasing blockbusters, like The Good, the Bad and the Weird, A Bittersweet Life and A Tale of Two Sisters. He also had his Hollywood debut with The Last Stand, which, while not great, is probably the best Schwarzenegger comeback movie and entertaining. Unfortunately, his version of the Wolf Brigade suffered from surprisingly bad action and a cliched plot and characters. So let's hope he will bounce back from that one with his next movie. Kim has usually a fantastic eye for action and characters. Most of his films were also written by him. He is also a versatile director, having dabbled in the genres of horror, dark comedy, western, action and psychological thrillers. Often the subject matter is darker, but it's often still a blast. He has also worked previously with the actors Lee Byung-hun and Choi Min-sik in A Bittersweet Life, The Good, the Bad and the Weird and A Quiet Family respectively. Lee Byung-hun is probably one of the most famous actors in Korea, having played in movies like Joint Security Area, a segment of Three Extremes, and the aforementioned movies like A Bittersweet Life. He has also appeared in Hollywood movies like G.I. Joe, Red 2 and Terminator Genesis. He was also in TV shows like Iris and The Squid Game, often playing stoic characters in action movies or thrillers. His role in I Saw the Devil is no different, and as in his other roles, there is another layer of vulnerability underneath, which sometimes cracks. He portrays the Secret Service agent sometimes almost robotic. He is a killing machine, as we will see when he is in action. He is very systematic in the fights and has a seemingly great pain threshold. He kind of reminded me of Robert Patrick's character in Terminator 2 at times. The character he portrays is basically Jason Bourne if he lost everything and is on a destructive revenge mission. Choi Min-sik was basically my gateway to Korean cinema. His portrayal of Oh Dae-soo in Oldboy made me fall in love with Korean movies. He is a cornerstone of Korean movies and can be credited for popularizing a new wave of Korean cinema, which started with movies like Shiri, in which he had played the main villain, and of course Oldboy, which garnered a lot of attention when it was released. He had a longer hiatus due to some regulations for the Korean cinema, which he opposed, and he returned with I Saw the Devil, in which he portrays an unhinged serial killer. He perfectly portrays the deranged serial killer and is basically the opposite to Lee's character. He kills unsuspecting women when they are alone to satisfy his urges. He is chaos and kills for lust. He is a criminal who seemingly doesn't even know what he is doing. He talks with himself, while the agent which follows him is hardly speaking and tries to plan everything. And while the agent also kills, he isn't killing weaker opponents, which he surprises. No, he often fights opponents which have an advantage. He is always in control, at least he thinks so, which leads me to the next point. Mild spoilers ahead, as I go through the plot in more detail. As mentioned, both main characters are opposites, order and chaos, or what happens when an unstoppable force hits an unmovable object. Both characters change as the story progresses. Sometimes the changes are subtle, sometimes more obvious. So-hyun is getting more and more sloppy and takes more risks as the story progresses, as if it wouldn't be dangerous enough to let a psychotic serial killer loose to hunt him. He also lets the psycho know that he is being hunted. He underestimates the killer, who learns more and more about him. Kyung-chul doesn't need to take more risks. It doesn't matter if he gets sloppier. He just doesn't care if he is getting caught or not. He just wants to satisfy his urges. If So-hyun wouldn't have caught Kyung-chul, the police would have gotten to him. They were already breathing down his neck at this point, and everything would be safe. But instead, the agent is getting to Kyung-chul, beats him up and lets him go again so the hunt can continue. Kyung-chul simply doesn't care. He just thinks about winning this sick game and hurting So-hyun and society as much as possible. It's a twisted, cruel story about revenge, which will cause only more and more suffering. Not only do both men hurt each other, as the story unfolds, they also cause suffering to people around them, and countless innocent people on the way. So-hyun puts Kyung-chul in desperate situations, and Kyung's solution is usually violence. While So-hyun is often stepping in the last moment, he can often still not prevent the worst from happening. So-hyun is robotic, as mentioned before. Only at a few points in the movie he can bring himself to hold back tears. But even when his girlfriend's father is breaking down next to him, he can't really show emotion. He tries to find justice, he tries to make the murder suffer. He tries to find a way to cope with his girlfriend's death, the girlfriend which he wanted to marry soon, which was also pregnant as he will learn, but the only thing he does is destroy himself and turning into a monster himself. The way the light works, how he looks, he seems often barely human. He doesn't even flinch when he is being cut and only has his prey in view. Kyung-chul, on the other hand, is a beast right from the start. He is just creepy, and every conversation he has turns awkward and then scary quickly. He intimidates people for his own enjoyment. He curses, he loves the sound of his voice, he speaks with himself, for one so that the viewer and So-hyun can hear what he is thinking and planning, and also because he is just crazy. He has insane mood swings and is absolutely unpredictable and causes more and more destruction every time he gets caught, and then set loose again. It's a game for him, a game which he will win, while So-hyun wants justice. In the end, both men will get what they deserve, but they won't be happy. I don't want to spoil any more of the story, as I would recommend everyone who can stomach more violent and darker stories to watch this great movie himself. In my opinion, it's worth it. This is no ordinary serial killer movie. Mixed with a revenge plot, it has a lot of action in it. So-hyun is a Secret Service agent. He knows how to fight and we see it. There's also a scene in which he confronts Kyung-chul and two of his companions in a house with some hostages. And when he gets spotted, Kyung-chul hunts him with a shotgun through the house. So-hyun jumps through a window, climbs up another wall and back into the house, and then this scene from the trailer happens. There's also some great directing and photography going on, like a fight between the serial killer and some bandits in a cab, which I unfortunately can't show here, as this video will probably get flagged. But what I can hopefully show is some of the lighting and framing in the movie, like the greenhouse, the framing of So-hyun and Kyung-chul. I just love the colors in this movie. It's just brilliant and looks like another world at times. The sound and score are also amazing. I will never get the score out of my head, and I'm not complaining. The sound itself is also fantastic. I remember watching it years ago in my parents' house and hearing a child shouting outside, being annoyed and thinking it were the neighbors, but it was actually in the movie. It just sounded so real. I Saw the Devil is a fantastic piece of filmmaking. I have seen it a couple of times now and enjoy it every time, probably even more and more. The almost 2.5 hours just fly by, and while it's not flawless, the good things just overwhelm the minor gripes I have with it. I Saw the Devil is a fantastic piece of filmmaking. I saw a couple of darker serial killer movies over the years, which had some amazing ideas in filmmaking, like Angst, Maniac and a short film about killing, and I count this one among one of the greater movies of the genre. It's probably more of a 9 out of 10, but for me I guess I have to give it a 10, as I have seen it many times already and can still appreciate it.